I know Sally and Austin have been hooking up, but they didn't seem to be together. He seemed to be in a thing with another girl, and the girl was all over him and started arguing with him, and then she left. Then someone said, she's the new girl he's hooking up with. And then it says when the girl left, Sally went over and was being flirty, grabbed his butt. Then she left too. Austin stayed till pretty much the end and was being hilarious and didn't seem to care about the girl who left and was enjoying himself. It says it opened to the public at 9 and Craig was already gone. But my friend who was there when Craig was there said that Craig and Austin seemed to be perfectly fine. And then the last thing this person said, Austin's parents were with him and his mom was a sweetheart and told us that they were staying the night at his house.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? How are you, Amanda?
I'm doing great. How are you? And hi, cocktailers.
I'm good. We're getting there. It's a few days out from Christmas. We're getting there.
Have you wrapped any presents yet?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I am actually in my basement, like staring at all of it and just so unsure as to what I bought. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, our Amazon driver seems to be coming a few times a day in his days. So if you guys hear dogs barking in the background when the Amazon person just came, so I'm hoping for good. But yeah, one of these years, I keep saying I'm going to be I'm more on top of it. But we just wanted to start out today just by acknowledging that there have been a lot of heavy events this week. Our love goes out to our friends in Australia and in the Jewish community worldwide. Bea and I, you've heard us say this, but we feel very strongly there is no room for hate, especially here in our community. And we send our love to you. To the friends and family of the Reiner family, we are mourning this loss with you. I think it's such a terrible situation. And to all of those affected by gun violence this week, we send our loves. This can be such a hard time of year for so many. And so we want to acknowledge that, but we also know that many of you may need some levity or a moment of distraction, which Bea and I are happy to provide.
I need a moment of distraction. I feel like every time I open my phone or turn on the news, it's like something really tragic and upsetting. The whole Reiner family situation, Bondi Beach, it's a lot, but that's why you're here, to talk shit with us. So we're sending our love to all of you. And you'll be hearing this, before Christmas. What am I talking about?
Yes.
I don't know where I am.
I know the feeling. I really do. The days are really blending together, and I'm right there with you. I wanted to quickly tell a holiday adjacent story to you guys because I've gotten a lot of emails from cocktailers about my Christmas tree troubles.
Killer Christmas tree.
Killer Christmas tree. I'm fine. For those of you guys who didn't hear, like, this Christmas tree has been trying to unalive itself on me. But I was laughing last night because we have this set of like sleigh bells that we've had and like used as a decoration in the past. Have used it in what I now realize is gaslighting my children into thinking that Santa was outside.
By the way, Amanda, I got so many DMs when we were talking on the pod about the elf, and like, we're in good company. We are all bribing, blackmailing, gaslighting our children with Santa and the whole thing of it. And listen, like, it was done to us when you were children, and now we do it to our kids, and one day our kids will do it to, God willing, their kids. So
yeah, I mean, it is there's magic with all of that, and only the best of intentions as well, because it's fun to
lie to the children.
It's fun. So the jingle bells, I hung them on the back door, and one of our dogs has now realized that if he jingles the bell, we will let him out. And this is, first of all, this is the dog that I figured would figure that out because he's very smart. But I also call him FOMO because if he's inside, he wants out. And if he's outside, he wants it. It's looking like the bells are probably going to permanently stay on the back door. And on the positive side, I am down like 5 pounds
from running him to the door and
top house. So anyway, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe the jingle bells might get put away with all of the holiday stuff, and poor FOMO will just have to go back to being regular old FOMO where he just sits by the back door and asks to be let out all the time. So we have an all tea show for you guys today because there's been a lot coming in. So get ready for the gossip.
There's been so much pouring in, and like so much that I'm like, so a lot of shows aren't on this week because of the holidays, and Amanda and I record we either do Wednesday or Thursday, but neither of those are going to work because it's Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So we're planning to record Friday, which there'll be no shows on. So keep sending us tea, or otherwise you'll just listen to us talking shit about our families and what transpired on the holidays, which is entertainment all in and of itself.
True. It's true.
So we have a lot of tea on the road trip. As we know, they're filming in January, so it's coming in. Amanda, do you want to?
Yes. Okay.
Start.
So let's start first with the cast list that we got. So we were told for the road trip, it's Vicky, Nene Leakes, Luann, Teresa, Kyle, Giselle, Meredith, and Mary. Sorry, I should say who they're all from. Vicky from OC, Nene from Atlanta, Luann from New York, Teresa from Jersey, Kyle from Beverly Hills, Giselle from Potomac, Meredith from Salt Lake City, Mary from Salt Lake City, Kim Zolciak from Atlanta, and Karen from Potomac.
So we got this list. It seemed a little long for me for full-time. And then I heard there are only 7 full-time on the bus or whatever they're using. So that makes sense. Like 10 for a full-time cast seems heavy. Mm-hmm. But we know that they're going to other cities, making visits. So 7 main housewives. And then we do know others will pop in. Something that we learned and an exclusive that we shared with you guys on our website. Dorinda is hosting the ladies at a stop at the Bluestone Manor in the Berkshires. I think it might be the last stop. Then somebody else said they may be doing the last stop in Rhode Island. We're also going to see, like, throughout the trip, someone from Miami. We're hearing Alexia. She's the longest running full-time housewife. Every main housewife will be a season 1 from their city. That's why Tamara, Phaedra, Melissa, and other longtime big names aren't on the main cast, but we will see them. And then we got another email shedding more light on the trip.
Okay, I'll read it. Subject is Bluestone Manor. Bravo and Shed Media are trying to keep this tight-lipped. What I'm hearing now is that the OGs will be road tripping around to each city. They may run into some past housewives on the way. Then the road trip will end at Bluestone Manor, where the other housewives will be for a party. These women's contracts are also being figured out. And then we have women invited to the manor include Sonia, Phaedra, Portia, Melissa, Dolores, Tamara, Shannon, Ashley, Monique, Heather Gay, Marisol, Larsa, Erica, Jane, and Dorit. And it says, unsure if these women's contracts are just showing up for the party or will be staying at the manor separately than the road trip girls and film for a night or two since contracts are involved. And then it says main cast is definitely Vicky, Nene, Teresa, Luann, Kyle, Giselle, Alexia. So that is 7 people. So that would make sense. And then it says unsure if it will be Meredith and or Mary, Karen, and Kim Z's are maybes.
I didn't think Alexia was main cast, but again, contracts are currently being negotiated, so things may have changed since our source last told us that Alexia was not main. We know Vicky, fingers crossed for Nene. We know that she's made amends. We've been saying for a long time we're going to see her. Hopefully this is finally it. Teresa, Luann just canceled her show in January, her Palm Springs show, because she'll be on the trip. Kyle, Giselle, they all make sense. I don't know how much sense Karen makes. The fans are really bucking her warm reception at BravoCon. So I'm thinking,
What does that mean? They're saying they can't believe it, or they're glad that she got a warm reception?
No, I think the majority are not glad that she got such a warm reception.
I feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just have to say, this is quite the undertaking. I don't envy the production.
I know. Can you imagine what a nightmare with all of these people and their...
I have to imagine they're going to be in a bus, but then in every city they're going to stop and go in a hotel. But like, are they going to have a separate? I have to imagine they're going to need like a Greyhound bus just for their luggage. like
So
you know what
true.
I mean? And also, you're going to different cities. We're talking different climates, different outfits. Like even the women, it's like a big undertaking for them just packing.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, again, logistically, I am impressed that it seems that they're going to be able to pull this off just with all these women and their schedules. And then, I would imagine maybe they do a few of the, a little bit of driving, but then they're probably going to send them by plane, unless maybe half of the comedy is them actually being on this bus. Maybe they're doing more of like a tour bus kind of situation. So that would kind of make sense.
Them on a bus. I'm just trying to picture.
I don't know. But I love, okay, so as far as the cast, like Jill brings the shade, of course. Luann will bring the party. And of course, she's going to go out and meet men, which is always entertaining. Vicky will definitely, I think, be a part of the party, but then also cry a few times. Nene will probably bring all of the above. Like, she's just good. It's going to be so good to see her. Kyle will bring the honesty about her life. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll see about that. I would really like to see actually Alexia on without Marisol. I think that will be a very refreshing thing if she ends up being part of the cast. You guys already know my thoughts about Karen. Kim Z will bring some crazy, which will be fun. Mary will bring the funny. Meredith without Lisa Barlow, I think, will be interesting to watch. This last week of Salt Lake City, it really does solidify the fact that Whitney and Heather and Meredith and Lisa really do kind of speak interchangeably for each other. So seeing Meredith on her own, because she's clearly a really compelling person, because she's got all these, she seems more than just about anybody else to be very tight with women from all of the other franchises. So I'd really like to see that.
My thoughts on that are, is she tight with them, or are these like very surface relationships? Like, she's a good networker, that's for sure.
Yeah, it could be that. Yeah, it could be that she's a good networker.
Let's see what she brings, because Lisa Barlow, love her or not, she brings delusion, where Meredith can be too buttoned up unless really poked and prodded.
Yeah, that's true. But you guys know, we'll have eyes everywhere. We'll be sharing what we are hearing as everything.
Wait for the sightings to come in.
Oh, I mean, can you imagine like pulling up to a Buc-ee's in Texas and running into these women?
Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's? I've never been to a Buc-ee's.
I have been to a Buc-ee's.
Okay, explain to me. Is it like a Walmart, but like with a restaurant in it?
So and people say it's really hard to explain. But one of the things that really was shocking to me, and I'm probably going to get this number wrong, they have something like 150 gas pumps. So it's, when you go, you know how usually if you get gas,
it's a gas station.
You get your gas. Yeah, it's all, and they're like on the highway, right? But when you get gas, you get your gas, and then you pull, if you're going to go inside and shop or whatever, then you pull up. Like at Buc-ee's, they don't care because they want people to get the gas, but then they want people to go inside. And inside there's, the last time I was there was a Buc-ee's character that my family and I took pictures with. They have there's not really sit down restaurant. So they have like a whole like food and snacks area, and they have a lot of their own snacks. So they have these like corn pop things that they call beaver nuggets because Bucky's the beaver. Then they have a whole merch area where they have like Bucky's pajama pants and hats and sweatshirts and cups and all that kind of stuff. And then they have all this other food that's like more like hot bar at Whole Foods kind of situation.
Okay.
Not then, like it's not so much as sit down. And then they have obviously all of the drinks and that kind of stuff. But the food that we have gotten is really good. We tried their barbecue that was supposed to be, that was good. I mean, it's much. You couldn't go, you could send everyone in your family with any kind of dietary restriction, and everybody would find something that they want because they have really good breakfast burritos and all kinds of stuff. So it's worth it. It's worth
I Googled, and the closest one to New York is in Virginia. And there's a couple in Florida, but not South Florida. But I feel like it's spreading more.
Yeah. Yeah, because it used to be kind of just Texas, I think, and now they're all over. Happy New Year, cocktailers. You guys know we love Nutrafol, and wanted to share that the people behind the brand had a few questions for us that we'll share over the next couple of months. So one of them was, did you notice improved hair growth? Did you see less shedding? So B will tell her own stories as well, but in my case, I absolutely saw improved hair growth. I have mentioned this, I think, before, but after a few months of taking Nutrafol, I started to see baby hairs popping up all over the place. At first, I thought they were flyaways that I just hadn't, used enough product on. And then I realized, I'm like, no, this is a whole new layer of hair coming in. And so since I have been taking it for quite a while, those baby hairs have now turned into a full layer of my hair. Did I see less shedding? Absolutely. That's one of the things that I always look at is my hairbrush. And I absolutely did see less shedding. Resolutions come and go, but real lasting growth takes time. That's why I love that Nutrafol isn't promising a miracle in 30 days. They're here to help you grow your hair and your confidence from within, one day at a time. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified. And, I mentioned that I have been taking Nutrafol for a long time. Consistency really is the key to meaningful results, and Nutrafol makes staying consistent simple, setting you up for long-term success with automated deliveries, free shipping, up to 20% savings, free one-on-one naturopathic doctor consultations, and a complimentary Headspace membership included. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code GOSSIP. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP. Just imagine seeing these women. It's, of course, hopefully take pictures, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys see them on their road trip starting in January.
So we have all of this road trip intel. And then as we're getting this, we start getting OC intel. So we're going to talk you through the information as we've received it.
Yeah.
So last night, I get an email that says, unexpected OC casting news is coming and the deck has officially been reshuffled. Hint, it's not even close to who or what you think. So I then had a source weigh in and say, let me give you some perspective. People think Emily is cut, but they don't realize that there's a huge audience outside of social media. What this person meant was they said that Emily and Shannon score very high on viewer cards. And they cited Emily getting wife swap, Wayfair ad, Shannon getting Love Hotel, and the dog commercial that we see during the episode. Advertisers use the viewer cards and the audience enjoys them because I think what this source meant, sometimes social media, we can get caught in this hamster wheel of like certain accounts, myself included, like posting like Emily's boring or this sort of thing. And that doesn't necessarily give the full picture. Sure, we're all online, but some people are more invested in the social media gossip and some people just watch the shows.
Right.
So this person said, Bravo wants money, money, money. So the people getting the ads are obviously the people that are able to sell. They said, Tamra never gets anything, just saying. That's what they added.
Well, that's not fully
That's totally true because we have Tamra.
She was on Traders.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think of what else. And it sounds like she's probably going to be on
Road Trip.
At least the party part, Road Trip. So I could see that. I think Emily is a mom of younger kids. She's been married a long time. She likes to have fun. I think that she is quite relatable and we can't count that out. Her struggles with her weight and now with her son this year, I think that makes sense. Shannon, I always say this, but there's just something about her that makes so many of us want to root her on. And she does a good job of bringing some like levity and fun to the show because especially in such dark seasons, her being high and hearing the Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yes.
She's also not afraid of showing her vulnerabilities. So I don't know. I think that makes sense. But hot off the presses, we got an email this morning that we should discuss. Do you want to read it?
Yes. Subject, let's go. Real Housewives franchise turns 20 in 2026 and Bravo is going all out. First up, Real Housewives road trip with the highly anticipated return of Nene Leakes that will most likely transition her return to Atlanta for season 18. Kim Zolciak also involved with road trip. Next, Vicky returning to Orange County along with Jacqueline Larita if negotiations go well. Heather Dubrow is leaving Orange County, which makes sense since she doesn't even live there. Emily and Katie are on the chopping block and a newbie will definitely be added. Jersey will begin filming in 2026 with Teresa, Dolores, Melissa, and early talks of Kathy Wakili as a friend of. Okay, that's what the email said. I feel like I have a few people who have told me, hinted to me, and now this email saying Heather Dubrow is leaving Orange County. What I heard was it's her choice. Her son is going to be on Next Gen LA. She lives in LA. I don't have a confirm that she's going to Beverly Hills, but I feel like she wouldn't leave unless she was. So
so the Jacqueline thing, I'm not that surprised about. I guess we'll see on that. Sounds like there's some negotiating going on. Heather, it did take me a little bit by surprise, but then thinking about it, I think Heather actually has a pretty good sense for timing, and I think this would be a good time for her to leave. She goes out on a high note. It would make sense, obviously that she doesn't live in OC anymore, but I'm sure they have some sort of place there because I think Terry still has a practice there. But she leaves in good graces with Bravo, or she has something else going on, which, she's looking at other opportunities in the network. So again, that would make sense to me. And she also might be ready to kind of leave behind some of the less appealing parts of being on a housewife show. And, we all know she doesn't need the money.
So it's a few different things. So I think that, first of all, something that I hadn't really factored in until our conversation here is Crystal Minkoff on her pod. And a lot of you guys, I didn't listen to it, but a lot of you guys said She knows for a fact a full-time housewife from OC is leaving. Crystal Minkoff is friends with Heather Dubrow. So that all of these, in other words, this is what we mean when me and Amanda say that we put puzzles together, because we're getting this information from different places and then we're taking other like hints that have been around. So that's what makes it believable to me. My thing is, as far as the assumption that she'll be on Beverly Hills, their season just started airing. So they have no way of knowing at this junction who, like this new Amanda chick, is she going to be a one-season wonder or is she going to stick? What I do know, and what you guys know, is that Erica was very close to being demoted or cut last season. They kept her on full-time. It's her 10th season. Give her the full 10. Is it possible that their plan is to demote Erica and bring in Heather? Does Heather go to Beverly Hills for a friend of position? I don't know.
Again, I think that I could see it, especially I could really see it, especially if she's gonna be on Next Gen LA with her son. I don't know. I think the thing we can bet on is that this isn't the last we've seen of her.
Oh, absolutely not. I could even see her and Terry getting some sort of show. Like, you know what I mean? I think that maybe she sat down and was like, listen, I don't want to do OC anymore. And, knowing her son's going on that show, hoping for Beverly Hills, hoping for other opportunities. As far as Jacqueline Larita, she does live in OC now. She is friends with the women. She looks fantastic, by the way. I reposted a picture. It was her, Jem Pedantri, I think, and Gretchen. And again, that's that like crew in the OC that they kind of want to get their claws into.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and
the
the thing is, Jacqueline's tried and true. We know that she'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think seeing her in a different friend group and in a different situation, I think will be interesting. I always liked her, so I think it would be very welcome to see her. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Katie, because I feel like it's all over the place. We're hearing hearing that she's definitely coming back. We're hearing she was a fan favorite. We're hearing a lot of people didn't like her. So that's one that, to me, I think is still a question mark.
Her and Emily seem to have conflicting stuff around them.
Right.
So,
we said we've got eyes everywhere. We had a cocktailer at Craig and Austin's restaurant, By the Way. It's called By the Way. And they had a 1-year anniversary party just last week in Charleston. So the mess said, I was at By the Way's one-year anniversary party. I know Sally and Austin have been hooking up, but they didn't seem to be together. He seemed to be in a thing with another girl, and the girl was all over him and started arguing with him, and then she left. Then someone said, she's the new girl he's hooking up with. And then it says when the girl left, Sally went over and was being flirty, grabbed his butt, but then she left too. Austin stayed till pretty much the end and was being hilarious and didn't seem to care about the girl who left and was enjoying himself. It says it opened to the public at 9 and Craig was already gone, but my friend who was there when Craig was there said, I'm like, this season, we're coffee season. That Craig, let's see. My friend who was there when Craig was there said that Craig and Austin seemed to be perfectly fine. And then the last thing this person said, Austin's parents were with him and his mom was a sweetheart and told us that they were staying the night at his house.
So you guys know we've shared like with Sally here. She doesn't have a full-time boyfriend. She does have a guy not on a reality show that she's very often on with. We're watching the current season. We see her actively pursuing Craig. When that didn't pan out, because we know that Craig does end up hooking up with Charlie, although they're not together now, Craig and Charlie. But so when it didn't work out with Craig, Sally then started pursuing Austin because Austin broke up with his girlfriend, Aubrey. And Austin and Sally have hooked up a few times. But I also have heard he's hooking up with somebody else altogether. And that's this girl, whoever this is, that left the party. And we can see Sally, once this girl leaves the party, going back and flirting with him because she wants a reality television boyfriend. She wants the fame.
Yeah.
We also got some intel about our girl, Molly.
Yes.
So, by the way, there's a video of her singing, and this girl is such a musical talent.
I watched every second of that video when you posted it.
She's so talented. She's a
so
beautiful
talented.
girl. She's quirky. She's funny. She's also officially off the market. And our boy Shep had plenty to say about it. You know, last season they flirted, they hit a kiss. Molly has confirmed that she's dating someone new. We did get a name, but since he isn't a public figure, I will only share that he plays with her at By the Way. He's a very talented musician. He's well known in Charleston. Amanda, I want to know your thoughts on this because, and we love Molly. Is it fair that Austin and Craig and Shep have their relationships dissected, their breakups dissected? Like they can't do anything, have anyone in their hot tubs.
Yeah.
Without the entire cast talking about it, cameras up and everything. And is it fair that Molly was quietly dating this musician, but since she isn't, see what happens is once people like now, Molly's 2 seasons in. So on her 3rd season, we're going to get more intel about her and this sort of thing.
Right.
But when you're newer, you get away with not with us knowing what you show us because the eyewitnesses that send in to Cocktail Party aren't really checking for Molly, right? It's only her 2nd season. Is this fair?
Well, if we were, let me take an old school Southern Charm reference and use that because I know on like face value, everything being equal, it is not fair. You know, back when like Cameron was on the show and didn't want to, you know, talk very much about her relationship and her husband even stopped being on the show. You know, I didn't, that is not fair. But just kind of where I think you were headed with this, with Molly and Sally both being new, I don't know that it's as much as that we're not getting the tea on it. I think part of it is that, yes, they're maybe a little bit more new, but they also, their relationships or, you know, Molly specifically, I don't know much. We don't know as much about Sally. Sally, it sounded like she had more of a situationship and they were probably never really fully official. And I'm guessing he didn't want to be on camera. So what are you going to do? With Molly, you know, it sounds like it's more of a newer thing. And if they had friend roles on Southern Charm, I'd kind of put her into that because she doesn't seem to be one of the primaries like a Shep or like a Craig. Of course, Austin brought Audrey on the show many times. Craig and Paige, well, that was reality TV crossover gold. So I don't know if it's as much of a fair thing. It's more maybe a timing thing. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And but if Molly continues to stay with this guy and continues to be serious and there's never a word about it and it makes it seem like Molly is single during the next season, then we're definitely in unfair territory. But yeah, like that, I just wanted to say too with Molly, like her, that singing that Casey Musgrave song, why don't we see more of her other talents? You know, we see
So
her
apparently she has terrifying stage fright that she's trying to overcome is what I read. Because I was looking into it after that.
Okay, that makes sense. Because she, I think truly is one of the most interesting people to be on Southern Charm in a while. And I'm actually really liking Whitner. He seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders, but he does seem to be very much a mama's boy. Like, what do you think about him?
I love him. I think he's so cute. The mustache can go. I'm not a mustache person. I think he's so handsome. He seems smart. Is he too normal? Is he is he, I don't know. He's 36 and he's newly single. Or are we going to see some interesting stuff? Like he seems very buttoned up. He is an attorney.
Yeah.
And most attorneys, not Craig, but most attorneys are very buttoned up. So I don't know if he has what it takes to be a primary, as you said. Right.
Yeah.
He's like a contract attorney or something. Like those kind of personalities are usually pretty by the book. But do I think he's too much of a mama's boy? Absolutely not. I think he's somebody where if I met him, I would and found out he was single, I'd be looking for like my most eligible friend that's single in his age range and hook them up. I think he's adorable.
Seriously. Yeah, he is. He's very cute. And his whole thing about his structure of his day, every day he wakes up every day at 4:30. And I agree with you in that like, he might be a little bit too buttoned up for the show, but I really like that. And sometimes you need somebody who's more of a hit of normal on these shows, especially in a situation in a town like Charleston, where it's so known as Peter Pan, who are aimless and don't work and just go to the bars. Like,
well, like Shep. Okay, what was with Shep with the banana hammock? Like,
I know.
Shep seems between his rant at BravoCon about Paige.
Yeah,
maybe
he feels like he's not getting the attention he.
Yeah, it's got to be like he just seems a little lost.
He does. I predict today is, what is it? December 18th, 2025. I predict he's going to find somebody and settle down in the next 2 years.
I think so. I think he's starting to look around and feel like stuff's passing him by.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just does a Taylor situation again where he gets a steady girlfriend and he kind of locks himself down a little bit and then goes back to his fuckery. Like, I don't know. I think he's openly said that he doesn't believe like marriage and children are for him. But he seems to like a monogamous stint.
I mean, some people call that marriage. I mean,
I don't think he can do it for long.
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's ever truly monogamous, but I think that he likes having somebody who's monogamous with him for a while.
Yeah. I don't know. I just get the feeling that maybe he's in a transition.
A girl like Molly, though, I think could be good for him.
Yeah.
I think
except not Molly. Not Molly. I like her too much.
I know.
So a lot of you have been asking us about Meghan King's custody situation with her ex-husband, Jim Edmonds. So there's been an update. I hate to even really talk about this because I have some opinions based on what I'm hearing, and I know you do too. So there was supposed to be a hearing scheduled at the beginning of December, and that was in regards to challenging the custody since it had been given temporarily fully to Jim as a result of Child Protective Services being called because she gave one of her children prescription medicine that was meant for another. We have heard that she has given up physical custody of all 3 children to Jim. The kids will live with him in Tennessee, which I didn't know that he moved
to Nashville.
And she will get the kids, I think, for a few weeks in the summer. As this decision was sort of made, and with a lot of legal situations, there are a lot of times that stuff gets settled out of court, and this was settled outside of the hearing, before the hearing. So it tells me, and we don't know this, but it tells me that her legal team advised her that this was a good option, considering of where she was with this CPS situation. I'm also going to guess that there was probably more going on and that the case wasn't going her way, and that maybe more what might have come out had she kept fighting the case, and that's why she agreed to that. But just conjecture on my point.
So the assessment that her legal team advised her that this was the best option, that does make sense to me. Cocktailers, me, Amanda, we're always generally suspicious of Jim Edmonds because we've heard so many unsavory things about him over the years. We have always heard, to be fair, that he's a good father. I will say it's interesting. He's based in St. Louis, and they both lived in St. Louis, and he upped and moved to Nashville, and suddenly she's losing custody. Like, part of me wants to fully blame him and say, because I always side with the woman, and say, oh yeah, now that he moved, he conveniently,
like they were looking for something
But the reality is he couldn't do that unless something was given to him, right? We're sending Megan our absolute best. It could be a situation where she's struggling with her own mental health and this was the best option for all parties involved at the time. We did see this weekend, her kids were with her in St. Louis. So clearly Jim seems to be working with her because she is only supposed to get them for the summer. So my hope is that whatever this is in the best interest of all parties, because like I said, I do find it odd that he moved to Nashville and now he got custody, but she had to have stuff to give him that custody. And she did give in and she did say, you get primary. So that's where it's at. That's the update. Again, we don't love talking about this, but you guys, it is a constant that you guys do DM and email me. So I just wanted to cover it because I know it's of interest. We wish them all the best. And, especially the kids, of course, and Megan. And
I would also like to say that there could be a situation too where she's, one person who is working on her real estate salary, or the money she makes from real estate, and legal expenses are very expensive and they don't call them expenses for no reason. I mean, it's very expensive. It could be a situation where she couldn't fight or was tired of fighting, I think too. Like we don't really know.
Maybe she's like, you know what, he thinks he can do so well, let them go. And maybe her hope is that he won't be able to handle it or won't want 3 little kids. And, there's all things we don't know about. Again, it's just speculation on our part. It does seem odd, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. And
particularly because they live so far. And so it isn't like he has full primary custody in the same town. Like he's in Nashville, she's in St. Louis. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Okay, we got some more intel on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. We'll call it this, actually not intel, we'll call this tea. So we got an email that said, subject line, divorce ? Rumblings are that Brett is catching on to Demi's lies. We saw him question it last season, but the truth is that he didn't fully believe her, and he questioned if she cheated. The lawsuit is going to be bad, and Brett doesn't want his money involved. Marciano is including pages of text messages, and LVP will help with footage. This is not going to be good.
I actually forget if we put this part in when we spoke about this last week. I don't think we did, because I think we got it like that day after we recorded. This doesn't surprise me. It seems to me like Brett and Demi, especially their showing at the reunion, was kind of like a house of cards. And Brett was very intent on being aggressive with the other women and their husbands.
Yeah.
And that was very telling.
Yeah.
There was no talk of like, Demi and I have spoke about it and I recognize her transgressions and we're, what I mean? It was more like, you're all this and you're all that. And like no focus on like what's actually going on with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was very much projecting, and yeah, I think you have a good point. For me, it's the paparazzi pictures of them shopping and leaking out in what appears to be a Nordstrom. Those of us, Gen X / elder millennials, know that back in the day, when there was talk of a celebrity divorce, and then we saw paparazzi pictures of a couple, quote unquote, caught kissing or holding hands in public in like one of the tabloids, we all knew that it meant a divorce announcement was coming very shortly. And that's what I'm like, I don't know, these paparazzi pictures, that tells me there's trouble brewing. And Brett is Gen X. Demi's not, but Brett is, so he knows the playbook.
100%. So last week we had an exclusive that Bronwyn said at the reunion that her and Todd had separated, and she has now confirmed that they have separated. I'm not exactly sure if it was said at the reunion, although I'm going to take a leap and say it was. I'm not surprised. I really like Bronwyn. There are some housewives, and not that I think she's perfect, and there are things about her that are shady. I really like her. Like, I'd want to hang out with her. I find her interesting.
I agree. Whenever she comes on, I'm like, whatever. Last episode, 2 episodes ago, when they were learning Greek with Angie's dad, I was like, boring, boring, boring. And then Bronwyn comes on. I'm like, oh, she's so interesting to watch.
Yeah, so interesting. I also love like this week when they were in Greece and how like she showers and just wears her hair wet. And I don't know, something about her is very raw and she's willing to be raw. And I think that is part of it. I think there's so much more for her on the other side. I think that Todd served a purpose for her. This actually all kind of makes sense. She got together with Todd when her daughter was very young. She was in a very vulnerable place, not only financially, but emotionally. Her parents were very hard on her, are still, her mom's still hard on her. Mm-hmm. And Todd made sense for that chapter of her life. And then her daughter's older now. She got on the Housewives. She has a lot of opportunities. She has been enjoying those opportunities. She's at fashion shows. Mm-hmm. She's everywhere a housewife would want to be. And it just makes sense that she's turning the page. And I just think there's so much more out there for her.
I fully agree. I also think maybe the flatulence from Todd is what put her over the edge. I could put up with the cheating, just not the farting.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. I say good for her, honestly. And I know that there's a lot of weird hate for her out there, and I don't quite understand it because I feel the same way. Like, there's just something so compelling about watching her. I find her very refreshing. I think the way that she has shown how and been so forthcoming about her relationship with her mom and all of how she was treated during her pregnancy, that is extremely painful to share. And she's got my attention. I really like her, and I agree. I think she's got a lot of great opportunities for her. And honestly, I make jokes about Todd, but with him traveling all the time anyway, I wonder if she had been if things even feel that much different for her, other than obviously now she's probably got a divorce lawyer and they're probably working on separating finances and all of that. But, with him being gone so much.
Honestly, he served a purpose. She needed stability in her life because she was raising her daughter. Mm-hmm. And he provided that, not just financially, although that's a very important piece of it, but also a father figure for Gwen.
And acceptance for her. And
yes, someone she could depend on that wasn't her parents, because she could depend on her parents, but there were strings attached. And I think as time went, she obviously realized there were strings attached with Todd too, because he did have an expectation of how she would behave and how she would present. And when she stepped outside of that box, we watched it. And that's how their real life was, right? Like, she would go with him to work functions or even social family functions. And I'm sure she acted in the way that he expected, which may not have been her true self.
She doesn't want to just be arm candy anymore. And
for the first time in her life, I think she's going to be able to be who and what she wants to be, mm-hmm. which is really exciting for her. And I'm watching her Instagram lives last night. I forget. Me too. She was, and I'm like, you know what? She don't look sad to me. No. She looks like a woman with a new lease on life, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah. And her dress is beautiful. And she's there with her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend. They're in Dominican Republic, I want to say.
Is that where they were? Yeah,
I think so. It looks amazing. So we wrap. I thought we should talk about some Jersey updates because we get so many questions about what's going on with Jersey. So
I don't know. Do we want to read this whole email? Because I feel like we've read it already.
Yeah. No, I don't think we need to. I think the biggest things are that here's one thing. So it's saying that Jen Fessler might be done.
We have conflicting stuff because then the email that I got, okay, you know what? I said we're not going to read it, but I'm going to skim it real quick.
Okay.
Jersey won't be filming until the spring. Official talks are finally starting. Executives are interested in Teresa, Melissa, Dolores, Gia Casey, brought on by Teresa, Natia Ruffalo, brought on by Melissa. Now, Natia has been not filming. She's been out with Melissa and Joe a lot. They've been posting. Gia Casey, a lot of people speculate that's not true because her husband is the very famous radio DJ in New York. And apparently there's some legal things or cheating things there that she wouldn't want out. But hey, we never know what's her story. And maybe they're finally splitting. And Christina Pastina, brought on by Dolores. These are the names that we keep hearing. So we thought Margaret was involved. But at this point, we're hearing she will not be involved because she's not making up with Teresa. Bravo wants to move away from the I'm not filming. Obviously, we know that. So this email told us if Margaret's out, Fessler's out. One or two other women involved. We also heard they're very interested in showing the kids. And I believe this part. Like how they showed the Manzos, more personal scenes. Teresa's girls are all in their 20s. And they're very funny, likable girls.
Yeah.
Dolores has Frankie and his wife getting married. I'm sure, listen, the wife's an injector. I'm sure she could use the screen time. Gia Casey's kids are older. So the most recent thing that we got this week is that Teresa, Melissa, Dolores, and Fessler with 4 newbies. Okay. I feel like the Fessler name is kind of random, but maybe not. Maybe that hinges on how talks go with Wakili. Are Wakili and Fessler friends? They may be. What I want to know, if Teresa is going to the Gorgas for Christmas, why in the world can't we get some cameras up for a Christmas special showing the kids reuniting?
I agree. My head goes to logistics when you ask that question. Like, it's a hard time of year to pull a crew together.
They've done it in the past.
But if you think about it, this reunion only happened in late October, which was 6 weeks ago. And I'm sure people are still watching to see if this reunion sticks. So maybe it would have been too much of a gamble given the newness of this peace treaty. I don't know. I gotta say, like, I hope we see Fessler, but she wasn't on that Beverly, the Real Housewives 20. She was not
right.
She was on that, but
she was not at BravoCon.
And I really want to see. I really think we will miss Marge. If Marge,
I will. I think that's a real loss because Marge knows how to keep the story going. We will miss Marge, and the contracts aren't signed, so let's see what happens. But in more small world intel, Kathy Wakili's daughter just had her baby. Dolores's ex, David the doctor, delivered the baby, and this is super weird. I shared the picture. Dolores's ex, David, is in a picture with Kathy and in his scrubs, and he holds up his shirt, and he's wearing a T-shirt that says, Real Housewives of New Jersey's bitch. Why? Very weird. Would you want Kathy back?
Absolutely. I always really liked her. I think I'm curious to see if how it would work with her and Dolores, because I feel like she and Dolores kind of play the same parts. Not that they're playing parts, but generally pretty level-headed, very family-oriented, less delusional.
Yeah.
And of course, I always loved her with Rosie, so I would be so happy to see Kathy back.
I think she would be down. I would. I'll be honest. I don't love her husband. And I always do my rewatches. And especially around the holidays, I'd like to rewatch some of those episodes. He was really freaking annoying and like inserted himself too much.
Yeah, he wanted
and like, yeah, and not in a funny Gorga way. Like not even in a funny Juicy Joe way. More in like an obnoxious and getting into like the cattiness and also like inciting Kathy and Rosie, which was not helpful.
Yes.
But Kathy and Rosie, love them, love her mother. If they're going the Dolo, Melissa, Teresa route, Kathy just makes sense.
She absolutely does. And she lives across the street from Melissa and Joe.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
New, gorgeous house.
What does her husband do again?
He owns gas station.
Okay, it's car washes. That sounds right. Okay, well,
Manzo's wanted to open a strip bar car wash. They never did. They own restaurants. But
yeah, let's see. We'll stay on this for you guys, of course. I'd be curious to hear what you guys have to say about Kathy. Tell us what you guys think on Discord.
And these are our last days of voting in our first annual Bravo and Cocktails Award.
Mm-hmm.
So please keep the votes coming in and just sending you guys love leading up to the holidays. I hope that listening to all of our nonsense, probably while you're gift wrapping or last minute ordering gifts or
cooking, right?
Now we're cooking.
Asked me about how to set up the bonus podcast for a cocktail party she was asking me how to get it set up because she wanted to listen while she's cooking and prepping everything for Christmas. I'm like, yeah, that sounds lovely.
And like, it's so easy to like look at the stack of boxes and get overwhelmed, but let's try to focus on like the good parts of it. Whatever those good parts are for you, they're different for everybody, not just the holiday, because we don't all celebrate the holiday, but the new year. And yeah,
the time together, that moment when you first sit down to the meal, seeing somebody you haven't gotten to see in a while. I feel like people like to announce good news at holiday get-togethers. There's so many things that you're right. It's that there's so many things that actually matter versus the how are you going to get all of these presents right kind of things.
Exactly. We love you guys. Till next time.
Bye.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoandcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great convos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.